No excuses for being late, mate. What's that all about? My bad. My bad. Why am I late? Because was making me brew. Got caught in conversation. Grandson came running up to me. Okay, I've got all the excuses, but what can I say? But yeah, it's all going on in the old Julie Wandelt court case. Got some nice juicy gossip. What's been going on? Try and catch up with everything. So I'm looking. Oh, my eyes looking that way. But yeah. But definitely, yeah. Get your finger out, Wiz. What's going on, geese? What's going on, geese? Well, Julie Wandelt. That's what's going on. It's all Bubby Jew. It's all Bubby Jew. So I'm sure you probably want to see what I'm seeing when I'm reading it and all that. So let me bring it up on screen for you so you can all see what's going on. What's going on? Right. Hello. I'm here. I'm not 15 minutes late at all. What are you on about? Yeah. My bad. But they got like the recap and that, but I mean, done 12 videos so far. We don't need all that, do we? But in the last hearing, the court was read a transcript from a police interview with alleged stalkers Julia and Karen. Ooh. Apparently, she's going to be taking the stand as well. Dun dun dun. But this is just sort of like a recap of what was said because I mean, she said, "Oh, like DNA test and all that." No, I didn't forget. I had it already. Oh, got something on my specs. No, I did. I remember. I had all done me thumbnail and all that, and I had to go downstairs to make me brew, and I got sidetracked. Blame the kids and grandkids, mate. Don't blame the whiz. I like to pass the buck. Yes, I got carried off, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I've got to go live. What am I doing?" So I come run up a bit, bit out of breath, geese, getting old geese, and later I'll be loading up it's about 9 minutes or so when I was on Paul Thorpe's channel yesterday, having a wee chat about Islam. So I'll be posting that little clip up later. But anyway, yes, this just like a recap. I swear this bit is as well, because like I'm only asking for a freaking DNA test, and that's all. Oh, you're right. Yeah, so basically, the defence and prosecution just sat down to discuss with Miss Justice Cutts some of the details about today's trial. Ooh. Proceedings begin in the court. The court is first walked through a document supplied to the jury about DNA testing, because we had that the other day, remember? That professional went through all the ins and outs. The document runs through where and how a series of DNA samples were taken, going into specifics on tests and methods of analysis. Oh yeah, let me know about my microphone as well. Make sure it's not too loud. I was on Paul Thorpe's show and I thought might have been a little bit too loud. I'm not too sure. But you have to let me know if it's like if I'm a bit shouty or like, whoa, you're making me go deaf, geese. Michael Duck, KC, a prosecution, goes through the document outlining the examples listed, and Madeleine McCann's father, Jerry, is mentioned. Though obviously the defence will be doing their stuff soon. But this is where I don't know, remember Surjit Singh? He was on Instagram and he was doing his thing on there and saying about DNA and this and that. So he even pops up. So Officer Tom Szyszlak is the first witness of today's proceedings. Oh, the volume's good. Okay, happy days. Oh, happy days. Don't want to be like I'm shouting. The missus always says, like, don't shout, mate. Calm down. He's asked by Tom Price KC defence about a conversation between his client, Julia Wandelt, and Surjit Singh, who was described as a publicist. I did try to get hold of him, but he just basically ignored it. So what can I say? Singh, the court hears, claims to have broken dozens of big stories and taken on the biggest newspapers in the land. I mean, it's a bit over-egged. I did look into him. It was like the business was like no longer going or whatever. It's weird, like company. So I was a bit. They discussed her taking a DNA test in an alleged attempt to prove she was Madeleine McCann, and the conversation took place on the 3rd of December. In it, Singh allegedly tells Julia, once we do that, and whether it, i.e. their aims, matches or not, then we'll plan our next step. Price says the conversation further goes. Surjit Singh said, if your DNA doesn't match to them, then you can't be her, i.e. Madeleine. And then Julia said, yeah, I know. According to that transcript, the pair go on to discuss what could be done after the DNA test takes place. I mean, I'm a bit confused because, like, Surjit Sinclair, if he's that intelligent, he must have known that she's not Julia. Must have known Julia's not Madeleine. Tom Price KC for defence, so this is working on behalf of Julia, continues to discuss the relationship between Surjit Singh, it's Surjit Sinclair actually, and Julia, which we touched on in the post below. He says that there were messages between the two in which Singh repeatedly reaffirmed his support for Wandelt and even titled some "You Are Madeleine McCann." How stupid's that? Big up business, big up, big up, big up. Hope you're well, my friend. Living the dream, eating the custard cream. That's not going by what. I don't know if you actually saw Surjit Sinclair's Instagram, but going by what's on there, that's nothing along the lines of this, that he actually sent her or reaffirmed his support by sending messages that are, you are Madeleine McCann. Well, that's a strange one, because he was quite adamant on his Instagram, like, nope, DNA said she's not, blah, blah, blah. And he sends her messages saying, you are Madeleine McCann. How odd. Price adds that Singh presents himself as a competent, respected publisher. He adds that the defendant had a genuine and honest held belief she is Madeleine McCann. Really? You're telling me he's supposed to be competent, respected, and he actually thinks someone like Julia, bearing in mind, 12 people claim to be Madeleine, that she's the... The court also here's on February the 14th of this year, Singh said he believes DNA evidence is conclusive. Conclusive. He said complete and utter opposite on Instagram. Simon Russell Flint KC, defence for Karen Sprague, is speaking next. And as a reminder, Sprague 61 of Cardiff is also accused of travelling to the home of Madeleine McCann's parents along with Julia. Obviously, she denies stalking, even though the evidence is all there. On the morning of attending the McCann's family address, Sprague allegedly called Leicestershire police. She gave her name, said she didn't want to give the details of her complaint over the telephone, and said she wished to do it so in person. However, he says she was told this wasn't possible. Instead, she was given details of Beaumont Leys police station. But Simon Russell Flint KC for the defence for Karen Sprague then moves on to discussing his client's arrest, which we know was in the Bristol airport while she's waiting for Julia. So he asked the day's first witness, police officer Tom Szyszlak, whether there could have been an alternative to arresting her. Instead, Russell Flint asked if police could have said, don't do this, don't contact the McCanns, and give her a warning that if she did so again, she might be committing an offence. Szyszlak is also asked about the timings of the arrest. So they're trying to have a little dig around there, are they? Which is a bit strange. That's weird. But makes you laugh, this does, though. Like, just because you refuse something, flames of suspicion. Like, all right, calm down. Blimey, he only said no. I mean, if someone's your daughter or not. And don't forget, like I just said, 12 people claim to be Madeleine McCann, but apparently Julia's a special one because she just has not stopped. Constant. The court now moves on to discussing an interview the co-defendant Karen Spragg did with the police. While questioning policeman Tom Szyszlak, Spragg's lawyer, Simon Russell Flint KC, says the officer tried to get her to speculate as to why the McCanns refused to take part in a DNA test. Russell Flint says Spragg offered her reasoning for that, adding she believed that this fanned the flames of suspicion. The proceedings then moved on to Spragg's second arrest. Szyszlak says Spragg was arrested for a second time after reviewing messages on her phone. Why, if you wanted to question her further, would you not make an appointment? Russell Flynn asked, calling into question the decision. The defendant tried to add Madeleine McCann's mum to group chat. Yes, we heard about that earlier in the case, obviously, with the prosecution. Defendant Karen Spragg allegedly tried to add Madeleine McCann's mum to a group chat she was in. How? Oh, my word. The audacity of it. Her defence, Simon Russell Flint KC, runs the court for a series of points of evidence that the jury has been provided. Russell Flint says they tried to add Kate McCann. It wasn't accepted and nothing posted was ever seen. Spragg is accused of stalking the family and she still denies the charge. Adding people... See, well, adding Kate McCann up, there was Kate McCann, I'd be fuming. Like, what are you doing? Trying to invite. But like I say, with so many people claiming to be Madeleine, Kate and Jerry and Emily and Sean are probably like, enough's enough. Enough is enough. Well, I hope you all got your coffees. I need her to look at me. Court hears alleged messages shared by defendants. So we're now hearing from the prosecution again. This is about midday on the 27th, which initially sticks to the same point the defence has just raised. While Simon Russell Flint KC, defending Karen, says Kate McCann was never added to any group chat. The prosecution outlines some of the messages within the group as they tried to add her. Michael Duck KC tells the court one of the messages read, "Can you add Kate, please?" You remember, Michael Duck is actually the prosecution. I need her to look at me. that sums up Julia in every nutshell possible, doesn't it? Look at me. Look at me. Please look at me. It's all about me. That's Julia Wandelt in a nutshell. Moving on to some of the other messages shared between the defendants. Duck then says that Julia messaged Spragg about the alleged visit to the McCanns. The court hears that Julia told Karen, I need to make her see me and look at me. What, like that's going to convince her? Bear in mind that obviously Julia looks absolutely nothing like any of the McCanns. They're quite sort of slim, tall, like a fit looking family, should we say? A bit like my fam, we're like that. And then you got Julia, who's shorter, chubbier, and absolutely looks nothing like any of them in any shape or form. Hence why she was doctor in the photographs. Policeman Tom Szyszlak is still in the witness box and is now facing questions from the prosecution about Sergeant Sinclair. Sinclair is described as a publicist who, the court hears, supported Julia Wandelt. He is said to have advised her about how to build her online presence. It just happened anyway, so the court hears that Julia provided him with DNA, eye matching, voice matching, teeth matching, and health records. This is funny because Julia actually puts up that like Sergeant Sinclair is not my advisor, and then she's got messages with him at the bottom saying, "Oh, any whatever contact, please contact Sergeant Sinclair, my publicist." Do you know what I mean? So Julia's been caught out in a lie there because she basically said she had nothing to do with Sergeant Sinclair, and there we have it. So it is then showing a transcript of a call between the two. The court is told that Singh says, "You're just giving the game away. You're like a chess player who's telling everybody what your next move is going to be." No, it's because everyone just knew. It was just blooming obvious, wasn't it? Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? It's weird. Like Julia gets caught out in her own lie. I have nothing to do with Sergeant Sinclair. He is not my publicist, blah, blah, blah. And if we go on Instagram, you'll see on Julia's post at the bottom, it says, contact Sergeant Sinclair. And then we're hearing about all this. So Julia lied about that. According to the transcripts, he adds, I want you to keep your chin up, okay? What, all three of them? Whiz. The comments are made in reference to Wandelt's repeated online posts. Seeing what the jury hears, ask her to do nothing for a few weeks. Oh, but she'd be scratching in. Oh, she's like, no, I need my attention. I need to do my OnlyFans and my music and everything for likes and clicks. I'm desperate. That's Julia Wandelt in a nutshell. I just have no sympathy for her whatsoever. So you just don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? A family have lost a child, and she's doing all this, and it's gone to court, and I think it's absolutely disgraceful. And I'd throw the book at her if I was a coppers and that. The fact that she just would not stop, I'd throw the book at her, left, right, and centre. Just no. Time served plus another couple of years. That'll sort you out. And then go back to Poland. And do not come back to Britain. And do not post anywhere ever about anything to do with Madeleine McCann case or the parents or you claiming to be Madeleine McCann like 12 other people did. And bear in mind, she claimed that, you know, she was that Inga Jerrick, Acacia Bishop. Then we had Eugenie Collins claim to be Madeleine McCann. I mean, it's just an absolute mess, but it's so obvious. All this is just a complete waste of time, effort, and it's just going to be more trauma for the McCanns. It's pathetic. The junior counsel for the prosecution now goes on to tell the court about a conversation the defendant had with ChatGPT, which they spoke about earlier in the proceedings. The court hears that a conversation between Julia and the AI chatbot took place on the 31st of January this year over a 7-minute period starting just before 2 a.m. Wandelt's first message is said to be Caitlin Selena Rivera, missing girl. Oh, don't tell me. This is seemingly in reference to a young girl who went missing in Pennsylvania in 1999. Oh, here she goes again. We know what's coming, don't we? Julia then later asked the chatbot about a specific birthmark that Rivera had. Oh, don't tell me. Julia's looking. The AI told Julia that Rivera had a birthmark on her back near her left shoulder blade. Oh, I bet she was there looking. So that'd be someone else she's claimed to be. Oh, my word. I mean, it just reeks of desperation. Like, there's a lot of people, you know, mental health and that. They just don't like who they are, whatever it may be. But they don't do all this. They don't take it anything this far to the point of like traumatizing people. Court hears a YouTuber's role as Spragg worried turning up at their house isn't a good idea. No, it's not. And it's never, ever, ever a good idea. But I think this would be the YouTuber Steve Dempster that they spoke to. The prosecution continues to address the court and moves on to a conversation between defendant Karen Spragg and YouTuber Steve Dempster, who interviewed Julia Wandelt. Spragg and Dempster discussed in their conversation how they could help Julia in her alleged efforts to contact the McCann family. The court hears straight off the bat, that's wrong. You should not be talking of how to actually help her contact the McCanns. Absolute. That's just, why would you do that? Yeah, I agree, Nikki. Definitely, she's got something going on in the world of mental health. It's just because it's like, you know, even we probably have moments when you look at me, you don't like who you are, what you are, where you're going in life, what you're doing in life, or something. Do you know what I mean? You sort of question it all. It's like Julia's taking it to the extreme. It's I'd be very surprised if she wasn't sort of struggling with something like depression. If I'm honest with you. I'd be very surprised because it seems like that. And depression, obviously, you can end up better self-loathing and whatnot. And, you know, it's a dangerous path to go down, to be honest. But But I can't believe. Sorry, I clicked that and then I clicked it again. My bad. But it is weird that you'd actually discuss like how to help someone like the McCanns. Is that my internet again, Bloomin'? I'm having a word with BT, I tell you. Sprague says that rules were needed for Julia because she wanted to find Kate. The court hears that Dempster then tells Sprague, make sure she, or Julia, does it right. She's got one chance at this. See, that's not going to help, is it? Can you try and convince her that going to Kate isn't the right idea? That's what Karen said. I think she needs to be patient. Turning up at their house and work isn't a good idea. No, it's not. She added, I don't think she should go to Leicester, but Julia's Julia and she thinks Kate will help her. I don't think she will. Instead, the two suggested getting a DNA test and trying to get a reporter interested. Yeah, but everybody like is on planet Earth, so it's not going to help, is it? There's a quick roundup. About 1 o'clock in the day, basically a roundup of what was going on. The defendant, Julia, held an honest belief she was Madeleine McCann. There's nothing honest about it. You know who you are and what you are. She knows. That's rubbish. The defence for Karen said there was no evidence. The accused, who both deny stalking the McCann's family, rummaged through the family's bins at their home. How can they deny stalking when you've got videos of everything and the telephone conversations? There was a failed attempt to add Kate to a group chat. Julia was supported by publicist Sergit Sinclair, who was said to believe DNA evidence was conclusive, which he said the complete opposite on Instagram. And Julia discussed missing girls with ChatGPT. I mean, I'm not being funny, but at what point do you literally discuss anything with ChatGPT? So this afternoon, we could hear from Julia Wandelt, who allegedly claims to be Madeleine McCann, is accused of stalking the missing girl's family. We'll hear from Julia. She's literally going to, she's going to put her foot in it royally. But here it says, she was previously interviewed by the police and has just entered the witness box. So Julia is now in the witness box. Hallelujah. And that's going to just ruin her. Julia wanted to be an X-ray technician, but ended up quitting university. Well, with an X-ray, you'd be able to see right through her. Boom. This afternoon's proceedings begin with the defence clarifying a few facts about Julia, including confirming she grew up in Wroclaw. She's also asked about the secondary school she went to and her education. I wanted to become an X-ray technician, she said, of her desire to go to medical school. Because my father and his wife worked in this profession, that's why I wanted to try, she says. She later quit the course and in 2023 applied to study criminology at university. See, that's quite telling. I was accepted and I started this in October 2023. But because of my personal journey, I decided to resign from the university. That's weird, isn't it? So being an X-ray technician in the field the same as the McCanns, and criminology, and here she is in this. Strange. That is strange. Julia says she isn't her parents' daughter. This is the delusion. Julia is then asked about her parents, who she says are now separated, and her family. She's asked, do you believe that you are their daughter? She said, no. What an insult to her mum. What an absolute insult. When asked what led her to believe this, she explains, when I was a teenager, I started therapy because of extreme levels of self-harm. This, she says, led her to believe, as well as differences between her and her mother's appearance. But what? My mother has natural brown hair and brown eyes, she says. My father has dark hair. Now they are grey, but he had dark hair and brown eyes as well. She tells the court she she has a few memories from school, but these started around 8 or 9 years old. I don't even remember that. It's ridiculous. Difficult for me to feel completely sorry for the McCanns because they're probably guilty of something bad themselves. Yeah, who knows? Will we ever knows? But when I'm saying like the McCanns and that, like mostly it's Emily and Sean. They're the innocent ones. Do you know what I mean? It's just awful. And what they're going through, like regardless of what did or didn't happen, that we're never probably going to know, but maybe one day. But Julia's completely 100% at fault here and putting people through stuff that she shouldn't be. And it is a criminal offence. But I think like Emily and Sean are, like when I say the McCanns, normally it's in my head, I'm like Emily and Sean. They're the innocent ones, like 100% innocent, regardless of anything. And they should not be having to deal with all this rubbish. And it's going to affect their lives if their parents are being affected by this. But anything that affects Emily and Sean, that's what bugs me because they don't need it. So, but yeah. So it's more for the twins, to be fair. And like I said, I mean, we've always said, haven't we, like sort of leaving the kids unattended and that, like it's a bit strange that they weren't charged with anything, like leaving the kids unattended while they go out for something to eat and a few drinks. Do you know what I mean? Who does that? So, no, I mean, strange, isn't it? But he's saying like, oh, apparently she remembers when she was 3. She remembers when she was 8 or 9. I'm like, what? How do you remember that? I don't remember what I'd done like 3 weeks ago, if I'm honest. She tells the court she has a few memories from school, but he started around 8 or 9 years old. Do you remember that? I don't. Wandelt adds she has asked her parents for childhood photos for a long time, but they wouldn't show her. I asked my parents many times about birth certificate and DNA tests, says Julia. And she did actually she was actually given a birth certificate by her mother. And her mother said like she deliberately lost it in order to help her narrative. So Julia tells Leicester Crown Court that she tried to get hold of her birth certificate. Oh. She said she asked her parents many times, but they never wanted to provide her with it. And she told the court she wanted it because she believes she was adopted. She says she was told she wasn't adopted, but this made her question more. Yeah, because it doesn't fit her narrative. So yeah, I'm about 10ish. I remember at school with that, like with a big orange football or something. So it's probably I was about 10 or 11 at the time. So yeah. So if you think hard enough, you can remember little flashbacks. But there's a time in there. There's a limit. I mean, 3 years old. What are you on about? That's ridiculous. But describing an interaction with a local official, she says, she told me my parents were my parents and I wasn't adopted. Well, there you go then. Julia also says she discussed DNA with her parents many times and she asked them for a test plenty of times, but they always refused to give her a DNA test. That in itself is also a lie. Her mum has clearly stated that when Julia asked, she said, if you pay for it, I'll do it. And then Julia never asked her again because it doesn't fit Julia's narrative. It made me feel a bit surprised because I didn't expect them to refuse. They never, especially because at the time, I still dealt with a lot of emotional problems, she says. She's literally lying on oath. Julia Wandelt is lying. This is perjury. She's literally said. She has literally just said. They always refuse when they never. Her mum, in some reports, and it's even been written down by certain journalists, etc., just saying the mother agreed to a DNA test, but Julia then didn't bring it up again. She didn't mention it again. So this is perjury. She's lying under oath, which really doesn't surprise me with Julia in any shape or form, let's be honest. Julia says she called the registry in the city where she was born to get a copy of her birth certificate, but was told straight away she wasn't adopted. That made me even question more, because in Poland, this official institution, they are not allowed to give this personal information without verification. But the funny thing is, like, if you're adopted, you will never get your literal, proper, official birth certificate, not till you're a certain age, and I know that. Because on my birth certificate, it clearly states everything as is. And it states your adoptive parents as your parents because you've been adopted legally in court. I think mine was in like November 1987, it was official. So I was about 11 at the time when it actually went through officially, which I didn't know nothing about, you know. But they did have, my adoptive parents had a copy of my original, like, name. So I have my real name and all the details on it. I'm not sure why they get that. Maybe that's part of the court thing. They get given that, they take that, and then obviously they change my name. Because I had my first name, 2 middle names, and a surname, and then obviously that got whittled down to the adoptive parent's surname, 1 middle name, and I kept the same Christian name. But they had that copy. But and that's what I found, because I wanted to be a police officer. I used to go investigating, playing games, and then I actually found it. And I found my sisters as well. And I was like, ooh, hello. But it's weird because I was like, yeah, because I knew something wasn't right. Just felt it. But mine was real. Unlike Julia. Yeah, because, yeah, Mum gave it to her. Said, like, yeah, have it. And then apparently it's been mislaid, or it's been lost conveniently, her Mum said. But yeah, she was given the stuff. And I'm not being funny, but I'm not going to be looking at Julia's mum and thinking that, why would she lie about absolutely anything? She wouldn't. She agreed to a DNA test, and she gave her all documentations that she asked for and photos. So for Julia to turn around and say all that, then, especially under oath in court, it's perjury. So after seeing a psychologist, Julia started to question aspects of her life. The core is that after seeing a psychologist, Julia Wandelt began to question her identity. See, there's an issue there. She tells the court of her struggles with her mental health and self-harm growing up, which led her going in and out of therapy. See, you can see where it all started. She's asked by her defence counsel, Tom Price KC, about one therapist in particular. As a consequence of that psychologist, did you start to question aspects of your life? She said yes. It is directly connected. She later adds, after further questions, and then she offers no more information on the specific psychologist apart from that it was a woman. So that's probably a load of rubbish as well. I started with asking questions because I just could not believe there was nothing else in the story of what happened to me. Clutching at straws rings a bell. I started asking my parents about everything. What are your blood groups? Is there anything else that happened to me you don't tell me about? Wandelt says she still questions her identity today. So whatever underlying mental health things are going on, she's still got it. Wandelt searched through missing persons database after questioning her identity. Like, why would you do that? If you want to find out who you are, you don't start going through all missing persons. So far, all the questioning has been around how Julia came to dispute her identity and what she did about it. She tells her counsel, Tom Price KC, she decided to check out missing persons databases to see if any were my kind of age and of a similar appearance. So she's literally just looking for it. So that's not very scientific, is it? I wonder if someone's my age. Or I wonder if someone looks like me. Oh, look, that'd be me. The jury is told the different databases she went through and how she conducted her searches. There are a lot of people around my age, she says. Oh, well, you must be one then, Julia, you nutter. She explains she came across one name, Acacia Bishop, there we go, that she researched more into, and at one point thinks she may have a connection to her. Julia adds, I thought maybe I should check out some other missing children. So Acacia Bishop, that was one of the first with that Inga Jerick. I mean, she's literally looking to match something to suit her narrative. I mean, it's ridiculous. Julia says she first became aware of Madeleine McCann in June 2022 when in hospital. She tells the court she came across the missing English toddler by searching on missing person databases with an age range of 3 years plus or minus her age. Bearing in mind Julia was born in August, not May. There's a bit of an issue there, don't you think? And 2 years difference. But we're not allowed to say anything about that because it doesn't fit Julia's narrative. The court then hears how she found the website relating to the girl's disappearance and joined Facebook groups dedicated to Madeleine McCann. Oh, God. You know, it's just going to go down here. How come no one's like nipped this in the bud? There were a lot of people talking about a lot of theories in social media. Julia says she found indicators on the website that led her to think she was Madeleine McCann and says her motivation was, I just wanted to find out who I am. No, you even lied about the eye, trying to make out she had the eye thing when she never. Yeah, I know. My bad. I had all the evidence in it proving that I was right. I don't think there's some up. No, it's not, is there? Yeah. My bad. I was getting so much abuse, it was ridiculous. So, and that wasn't good for my mental health. People are horrible, I'll tell you. I was just like, oh, go away. I never had people talk to me like that when I stood on the pub doors as a doorman. Do you know what I mean? People are like, yes, sir, no, sir. Just pick them up, throw them out. But on the keyboard warriors side of things, people are like, whoa. The therapist led her to question her hegemony sacking. Yeah, if she exists. But yeah, 100%. How you doing, Slim? Oh, it's great to have you here, my friend. You are the one and only Slim Shady. But yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know with Julia, whether because she makes so much up. I mean, she's literally lied under oath already, saying her mum would not give her a birth certificate, which she did. Wouldn't do DNA test, which she did. So, I mean, Julia is literally lying under oath. How does that work? Defense counsel Tom Price Casey moves on to an incident when Julia contacted Operation Grange. She emailed them the following message on the 24th of June 2022. Hello, I'm writing you because I think I could be Madeleine McCann. The reason why I think I could be Maddie, one, I saw the pictures when I was younger. I had the mark on my eye. It's a little faded now, which it wouldn't do. I said that in one of my other videos, probably one I deleted now, my luck. Actually, like the fact that it, you know, if you've got a coloboma, it's not going to fade, is it? It's a hole. It's absolute rubbish. This is like, she doesn't realize how stupid she sounds. She then goes on to email to cite several further reasons why she believes she may be Madeleine McCann, because she's nuts. She's nuttier than a snicker. She's nuttier than a squirrel's poo-poo. But anyway, these further reasons include that documents might be faked and that she may actually be younger, that her parents wouldn't show her birth certificate, which they did, and due to a lack of memories before she was 9. Yet she remembered the night of the abduction when she was supposedly Madeleine McCann. She remembers the night in Praia de Luz. She remembers it. She said, oh, there was a moon, and apparently there was no moon, so that shut her up as well. So, lack of memories before she was 9, but she remembers being Madeleine McCann and the night she was abducted. Someone's lying. The court hears, this isn't the first time she tried to contact Operation Grange because I thought I could be Madeleine. Yeah. Terrible. I mean, blimey, what you're saying in chat, I mean, are you saying like she's a full-on Fruit Loop? I mean, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But she's definitely lying in court. I don't get it. How are they not? They must. How come they're not like, especially the prosecution, saying, "Hang on a minute, you need to remind her she's under oath. You cannot lie in a court of law." Did you ask your parents for a birth certificate? Yes. Did they give it to you? No. Well, they did. You had your birth certificate. You were given photos. Your mum accepted your and then and now you're saying all this no in court. Julia called hospital because police wouldn't help. The court moves on to hear about an alleged attempt by Julia to contact Kate and Jerry. Yep, at their place of work. At their place of work. Yeah, that's half the problem, Nikki. She literally believes her own lies. I mean, you know when you're lying, and you, regardless of what she's saying, she knows who she is and what she is. She knows. So to make out she's all this, that, and everything else. I mean, she go to bed at night and she's like, "Oh, I'm lying to myself." She must know. Tom Price Casey says she does this by going through a hospital in Leicester to try and get to them. She says the reason she contacted the hospital was because she was ignored by the police. No, she was told what she didn't want to hear. I admit I contacted the hospital, but the reason was because the police wouldn't help me, she said. The call lasted more than 20 minutes, the court hears. Julia contacted every single person before she went to the McCanns. I mean, blimey heck, that's full-on stalkerage, isn't it? Just before the break, the court heard that Julia attempted to contact embassies, ministries, journalists, and private detectives across the UK, Portugal, and Poland, as she believes she may be Madeleine McCann. I mean, how far is she going to take it? She says she did this because I did not want to contact Kate and Jerry and the McCann family until I contacted every single person I can. I did everything before. While she faced questions from Tom Price Casey, her own counsel, she was asked about all the places she reached out to by email and phone, and include a British investigative journalist, German police, and a number of missing person groups. Julia Wandelt was called as the first defence witness. She's her worst witness. She walked confidently from the dock to the witness box, dressed in dark blue jacket and black trousers. She spoke very good English and answered questions from her own lawyer, who regularly asked her to pause while the judge made notes of her evidence. Wandelt sipped from a glass of water, lifting and opening files as a lawyer asked her about her contact with Operation Grange, Scotland Yard team of detectives investigating Madeleine's disappearance. Crazy. It's quite it's bugging, because like anyone who actually believes Julia, they are full on the Fruit Loop. They are full on Cuckoo Nest as well. They're right up there in the fairies. Like there's literally no genuine evidence that Julia is Madeleine, because Julia literally manipulated everything to fit her narrative. Defendant asks, does Madeleine have any birth spots on her body? The court restarts again, and Julia Wandelt asked about more people she contacted as she pursued her suspicion that she was Madeleine McCann. I called the hospital many times without a positive effect. The court also hears Julia called a friend of the McCann's parents. She tells the court she was able to do this by finding their Facebook account. Remember, we heard earlier that David and Fiona Payne were contacted, and their daughter. She also contacted Belgian Interpol and a university academic in Wroclaw, and repeatedly reached out to Operation Grange, the police effort to find the missing girl. In one email, the court hears she said, "Hello, I have a question. Does Madeleine have any spots on her body?" This was asked to see if she could match her own marks to what she believed Madeleine had. In a separate message, she adds, "I had very similar eyes to Madeleine. Please tell me, can I be Madeleine?" Similar does not mean the same, does it? I know it sounds a bit weird, but I think I could be Madeleine McCann, she says in a third message. Well, you're not. Stop being a flippin' idiot. It really bugs me. What I don't understand is why they are still debating this when the judge said on day one that her identity was already established as not Maddie. I know, it's like they're going on and on and on. Oh, I missed one there. Yeah. We need evidence, though, you know what I mean? John Podesta just happened to be staying nearby when she went missing. Where have we seen this before? Yeah, well, why are they looking at Christian Bruckner? Strange, isn't it? Because he's nothing to do. I don't think he's anything to do with it. I agree with President. Who goes to see a PDF with your kids after you lose one? Definitely suspicious. Yeah, who does that? Who does that? Who does that? Oh, I don't. We'll end up with more questions if we keep talking like that in the chat. One of the first things Julia Wandelt told her lawyer was that she didn't think she was the daughter of her parents. They had different hair and eye colourings. They were reluctant to talk to her about childhood. There were no early family photographs, and her parents refused to show a birth certificate or take a DNA test, she told the court, which is, as we said, complete and utter lies. So, let's, Julie Wandelt made efforts to contact organisations over her alleged belief she was Madeleine McCann. I tried to contact them many times, she says, of the organisations she's reached out to before contacting Jerry and Kate directly. I just want to try everything, every institution, before getting in touch with them directly. Says she didn't want to give them, the McCann's parents, any false hope. Because that's all it was, false hope. But she was told when she came to be Acacia Bishop and Inga Jerrick, that was when the actual lady in question that ran the missing persons turned around and said, look, you are not anything to do with either of these. You're not Madeleine McCann. You need to seek help. She literally told her to seek help. But did Julia listen? No, because it did not fit her narrative. So there we go. Julia appeared not to accept she wasn't Madeleine McCann. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder. The court now hears about one point of contact between Julia and Operation Grange. This will be about when the bloke told her on it. There's in the phone conversation. It took place June the 28th, 2022. Julia said to have emailed and then called Operation Grange. But she was told by an officer they didn't think she was Madeleine McCann, and the court here she did not appear to accept this opinion. No, well, she wouldn't, would she? It doesn't fit her narrative. She'll get angry about that. However, Julia contests what took place, framing herself as a victim in need of help. Oh, yeah, she loves to play the victim. I don't think this ever took place, and if it did, I don't ever recall it, she tells the jury. Oh, she can remember when she was 3 years old and abducted, being Madeleine, and she remembers like being part of the family, but she doesn't remember that. In 2022, Julia repeats her claim that she pursued all of this because she wanted to know, and says she would have happily accepted the result of a DNA test. But she didn't know, did she? That's the funny thing. Hence why we're still here. She didn't turn around and go, right, there's no point having a court case and all that. I'll plead guilty. I'm going home. The police done a DNA test. It's proved I'm not. Oh no, we're still going to go to court. So Tom Price KC is carrying on asking Julia Wandelt questions, and also he is for the defence. He moves on to the first time she reached out to to Jerry. In June 2022, I thought that police would help, and after all this time trying to get help from them, I realised they would not help. So at the time, I thought the journalists are here to tell the truth. Court heard, or hears, that she messaged Jerry on the 9th of June 2023. I think they deserve to know the truth, she said, interrupting her own counsel to later add, I even have sympathy for them, the McCann parents. They look for their child. I look for my parents. Oh, God. She's trying to play the old heartstrings, the little number there, even though she's lying on oath, under oath. If she just like Kate and Jerry, she says, no, I always defended them. I still even now defend them. She says she never meant them any harm, and Julia accused of stalking McCanns, which she denies, even though she was stalking them left, right, and centre. I mean, everything I've been reading out, everything that you can see on screen. I mean, and she denies it. She's cuckoo, mate. The court now hears about Julia reaching out to contact Madeleine McCann, which is Madeleine's sister. And Julia says she thinks she found Emily through Facebook, but wasn't sure if it was her at first. The court is told that Julia begins her message sent on the 4th of January 2024 with, I'm not sure you'll answer me. I'm the girl who went viral for saying she was Madeleine McCann. Yep, delete, block. Cuckoo. In a message to Emily, Julia makes a series of claims the court hears about thinking she's Madeleine. She says she went to a hypnosis session, which she claimed led to memories resurfacing. What a load of rubbish. I know what happened. I really know. I think you're my only hope. Believe me, please. That's all I'm asking for. The message ends with Julia asking Emily to contact her as she gives her phone number, the court is told. Like, what? What? That's exactly that, Slim, mate. Yeah, that's some serious attention seeking. But now going through all this, now she's actually took to the stand, it's even more obvious because she's lying under oath, which I keep saying because it's bugging me. Just before court wraps up for the day, Julia Wandelt says she believes the police are not interested in finding Madeleine McCann. The court hears she contacted Jerry McCann directly in June 2023. That was around a year after she claimed she believed she could be their missing daughter. And don't forget tomorrow, ladies and gents, the 29th, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm going 9 hours live. I don't know what I'm going to be doing here, there, and everywhere. Anyone wants to come up and talk and whatever news, I'll be looking around, just doing it live. I'm just literally going live for 9 hours all the way through. Wizard Wednesday, why not? I thought it'd be a laugh. Blame the family. We're talking about something, can it just come up? And I was like, yeah, I'll do 9 hours. So that's tomorrow. So if you're around at some point, you can pop in. Asked why she contacted him directly, i.e. Jerry, she replies, because I think they were misled because of the police treating their daughter's case the way they treated me. I'm not surprised they didn't find their daughter. And I think they should know because my case is just an example of how police are still abusing cases. It is 18 years since Madeleine disappeared. The police are not interested in finding Kate and Jerry's daughter. That is my opinion. Asked about hate she received, she says there was a bounty on my head. Who'd put a bar of chocolate on her head? A bounty. Take it off. Have a snicker. Only joking. I don't know if it was a joke, but someone did this, she added. Second thing, I was getting a lot of hate. People wishing I would die. That's a bit harsh, but I'll be wishing that like she just shut up and went away. No, I have not seen Candace's new video as of it. Is it a juicy one? Because obviously, like I say, I've got 9 hours tomorrow, so I'll probably bring that up. Deception Detective fans know Maddie's parents were part of a bacon cult. A bacon cult? What the hell is a bacon cult? Is that something to do with Miss Piggy, Kermit the Frog? But yeah, I will be looking into Candace Owens. Like I say, I've got 9 hours, so I'll be looking into everything. We'll have a good old dive into this and everything else. And as we go, I'll be saying to people if they want to come up and have a chat or whatever. It's going to be a full-on, like, 9 hours. So that'll be a right old giggle. No way. I'm looking that up right now. You're winding me up. There's nothing there. Slim, you have me going. There's nothing. They actually produce photographic and scientific evidence to a US court to prove that she is a woman. Well, I had to look because is it? Hackers changed the legal name. Hackers changed Bridget McCann's gender to male on tax returns. It was a hack. It was a hack. They hacked her tax files and identified her as a male. I'm just looking. Her account had been hacked and altered to Jean-Michel. That's funny. That is actually funny. Well, that's hilarious. Start hacking her stuff. She'd be looking at questioning herself, go, oh my God. Oh, bacon. Oh, right. I used to like Candice, but now she seems to go down this I'm Catholic, but I hate Jews. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. So, yeah, that's funny. That's it. Jean-Michel, yeah. That's funny as. But that's hilarious. Get the old hackers on it. So that's what I mean. And the power of AI and everything else as well. But just before court wraps up for the day, Julia Wandelt says she believes the police are not interested in finding Madeleine McCann. I mean, who comes out with actual crap like that? 18 years since Madeleine disappeared. The police are not interested in finding Kate and Joey's daughter. That is my opinion. Asked about hate she received, she said she had a bounty on her head. I mean, got to reiterate these weird things, but absolutely nuts. But basically, that's it, and that's the court. And then I'll be probably Thursday. I might be doing another, like for the Wednesday or maybe Friday. Keep your eyes open. I'll see what info comes up. You know what's going on in the world, and then we'll see. But obviously, I always try and do, like, say, if it's a Wednesday, I'll try and do it Thursday to make sure I get all the info. I need to know what's going on. Got to have a read. So, yeah, a bounty on a head plus 2 Mars bars and a Snicker. So, yeah, it's definitely fell down some type of hole. But that's she denied claiming to be Madeleine for attention or money, saying she could not be able to heal from my trauma if I ever fully know who I am. She's terrible. She is terrible. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, blimey heck. She's a Fruit Loop, mate. But yeah. But I'll see, because I may even on Thursday, do it a bit later, and then do Wednesday and Thursdays. All do as a roundup, so we're all on the ball. But yeah, at least we know that Julia Wandelt is actually in the stand. Shame she's committed perjury, but nonetheless, she's in there talking. So happy days. But I will be back at 4 o'clock with news. We might have to have a look at the Macron thing, won't we? But as soon as she was hacked, but I'll see what else is going on. But I've already got the stuff up for today. I think we'll be talking like the hotels and the HMOs, etc. We'll be doing all that. So, but there was some weird stuff with David Payne, the way he was talking. He was doing that and weird stuff and that with Jerry McCann. It was all a bit strange. So yeah, that was in the PJ files that I read in the statements, and that is really weird. So yeah, there's definitely more to the story than meets the eye. 100%. 100%. But yeah, but join me at 4 o'clock on the 28th, which is today. But Multi-City, hello. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Julia knows how to do anything other than lie and fabricate. So, which is annoying because this is detracting from the actual case of Madeleine McCann. And like Slim says, yeah, we'll never know the full truth of it, which is absolute pain in the backside. Absolute pain in the backside. All these little things like, you know. But nonetheless. Well, but anyway. Hotels, HMOs, 2 billion a year, taxpayers. We're discussing that at 4 o'clock. So join me for that. It'll be happy days. Thanks to Business, Nikki, Tony, Multi-City, and everyone else I forgot. Have I forgotten anyone? I think I mentioned them. Tony, did I mention Tony? I think I mentioned Tony. Did I mention Tony? I hope I did. But yeah, but 4 o'clock, people, come back live and we'll be discussing about taxpayers' money. Absolutely disgraceful. But yes, but that's it for Julia. I'll probably more than likely do a roundup on Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll see how it goes, see what's going on in the court. Any juicy information, I'll bring it to you. Do not worry. I'll be staying right on my tiptoes with it, keeping an eye. But until 4 p.m, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it as always. But for now, that is the Wizard's words.